What is happening, guys? Fallen from OTB here, coming in with a new video today. We are going to focus on hero equipment today, as we are all learning new strategies for attacks. I'm going to try and put together the best guide, in my own opinion, that's going to kind of reach or meet the times and the things that have changed since the Root Riders are now no longer your favorite go-to for every style of an attack. A lot of people are using new styles of attacks, and that also impacts equipment and the equipment that should be used. So for those of you either looking to find a priority list for equipment, let's jump into things here. Starting with the king, we're going to work our way down here. So hero gauntlets, these are going to be always, since the very beginning of equipment, they are by far the strongest equipment to have out there, and the number one thing you're going to want to have upgraded for your king. To be placed alongside of that, I'd like running the gauntlets with the Rage Vial. This allows the king to be able to pop his ability and just start bashing through things and being able to run from defense to defense. You will notice without the Rage Vial, the king is going to be moving much slower, and it's going to be really hard since the king is doing that AoE damage to nearby defenses. It's going to be very tough to be able to move around to each of those defenses and actually make the gauntlets worth it. Coming in at third place, I think a lot of people do choose to use the spiky ball now. When you max that bad boy out, that thing is doing a significant amount of damage. So if you're looking at a base where there's a lot of central, maybe central town hall, all your scatter shots, all the big heavy defenses are in the middle. Maybe you're using an overgrowth with Root Riders and you're sending your heroes kind of around the outside to survive as long as possible. That spiky ball is going to be great in scenarios when you are using overgrowth in the core, in those huge defenses there in the core, and that spiky ball is going to get in there and literally clean house at the end of your attack once all the other defenses are taken out around the ring or wherever directions you're going to. So definitely those three are the hugest opportunities there for the king. Trying to make this video quicker than the last one. It was like 25 minutes, so no one wants to hear about every case scenario, but we do have to explain quite a bit. So on to the queen here. Up to this point, I think the queen can survive without the invisibility vial. That is definitely going to need to be maxed. One of the first couple to be done here with the queen. Queen just simply needs that. She's way too squishy to survive otherwise. There are some other scenarios where you're not going to use that invis vial, but if you're doing any type of a walk or like a kill squad or something with your heroes, you're definitely going to want to be able to use that invis vial. Coming into the second choice here, so again, if you are doing like a hero walk or maybe a kill squad with a golem, or you're sending your heroes in a separate area or compartment to clean out whether it be pathing or other options, definitely the freeze arrow is going to take care of things and slow down those defenses and essentially make it so the queen will be able to be healed through a couple point defenses at the same time. So very, very good also to slow down any nearby defenses if, for whatever reason you might need them. What I have been seeing recently is, since a lot of people have switched from Root Riders to things like Dragon Attacks, Dragon Attacks Queen is actually going to be using kind of a whole new wheelhouse. So probably the most common equipment for the Queen on these types of hero walks, I have recently seen this giant arrow is going to be huge to be able to help pick off like aligned air sweepers or air defenses, things like that you're going to be able to line up the shot and take out those defenses ahead of time. Mine is obviously so low, I think it's level 8 or 9, that allows you to pick off 2 air sweepers, so you can get those picked off at the very beginning of the attack if that sees fit. If not, you're going to get up to a much higher level if you can take out the air defenses or things, more convenient different types of defenses. So again, now that we're seeing more dragons, a lot of the pros have now been using Giant Arrow to pick those off. And matched with that giant arrow is going to be the healer puppet. So that's, since you're going to be popping your ability early, that healer puppet's going to be there to assist your queen and try and help heal her so she doesn't die immediately. Since you're using your ability so early, you're not getting a full use of the queen the way that she deserves to be used. So you're picking off those defenses, and then you're relying on the healer puppets to keep her alive on, a couple point defenses at a time. It's just going to help that situation out. But again, invisibility vial for pretty much anything else. Dragons are going to be using the giant arrow and healer puppet. So this is all a new concept. So this is just stuff that's making sense based on the changes of Root Riders again. So probably the most important, my favorite, other than the gauntlets, the Warden has some excellent options. So there are people who are using the Fireball strat. I think if you're a specialist in that, why not go for it? But what I think is probably, definitely the most important at the end of the day is the Eternal Tome. Is and always will be the most important spell or equipment used out of all the heroes. This is giving invulnerability to all of your troops for that period of time. That is a long time that they stay invulnerable. Second place here, it's really tough because I think everyone still loves the Healing Tome. Once upon a time, this was used on Root Riders constantly. You can still use it on dragons, hogs, any type of an attack that typically with things with higher HP that they're going to have some time to heal, and you take advantage of that heal over time. So that's definitely a top priority pick. Oh boy, and they're also good. The Life Gem, this is going to be used in attacks where there are lower health, units that are not going to necessarily benefit from the major heal. This is for, more specifically hogs or used in La Lune constantly. So Lune attacks, anything again with that lower HP that you're going to be able to get the biggest benefit on there. The Rage Gem, now we have used or seen different strategies with the use of Root Riders. Sometimes dragons can be used here with this. I think the Rage Gem is going to still be best for those kind of interesting, like the super barb attacks where you're sending like a kill squad, maybe Root Riders, or sending some things together with the Warden on the attack. I think is really good. It's also going to be really nice for like things like Warden walks and things like that. Other than that, Rage Gem has not been seeing as much play, and I would not necessarily put that at the top priority list. For now, I think the Heal Tome and Eternal Tome is number 1, Heal Tome number 2. If you're doing the Fireball strat, absolutely go to town on that. That's a huge strat right now that's working, especially on the Warden walks, and also on like Central Town Hall. If you're be able to reach a huge amount of heavy defenses, that's just absolutely worth it all the way. And then I talked about the Life Gem. That's just going to be great for La Lune and things like that. So that's great. Moving on to the Royal Champ. The Royal Champ is still one of my favorite, heroes out there. Royal Champ is really what makes the difference in a lot of these attacks. It either can move with hogs or moves on its own, accord, and is able to pick off, counter or corner defenses and work its way up the side of a base. What is the most important, I think, right now, even though I have been using the Haste. So Haste, absolute number 1, greatest equipment I have ever seen. I will never switch away from this unless something is that much better. And it's going to be hard to believe that something's going to be better because the Haste goes to town when you use it. What can be paired with the Haste? Nowadays, the number 1 most used secondary to go along with the Haste is going to be the Hog Rider puppets. As soon as the ability pops, there's a little bit of a health recovery, not extreme, but pretty dang good actually. And then we have those hogs are just going to pop out and be able to distract defenses. So I think that's a pretty crucial thing to do, and I'm going to start putting it into my attacks, even though I'm yet to use it. This is something that a lot of the pros are doing here nowadays, and as long as you're not literally facing a scatter shot or ridiculous amounts of defenses, poison towers, things like that are going to be a problem for them. But they are going to help distract those defenses, and they're going to be putting out that much more damage on nearby defenses. So it might not even be as effective as if you're using the haste and you're taking out all those defenses quicker than the hogs can attack. At least the hogs are there to help provide a little bit of a blanket for the Royal Champ. So priorities overall, I'm going to try and do this the best I can in the order that I hope makes sense. Giant Gauntlet, number 1, all the way, 110%. Number 2, Warden Eternal Tome is super, super important. I went down this path of doing the Healing Tome. Third, you could replace that with whatever your specialization is, for your attack, but that Healing Tome is fantastic. The next choice, I would say I would really go with the Haste Vial for Royal Champ. And then, you might want to also get started on the Hog Puppet, or you probably already have your Royal Gem, halfway leveled up since you've since TH16 upgrades. What else? Kind of like secondary things that you just can't forget about. They might not be the top of the list, but Rage Vial would probably be, tied with the Invisibility Vial as well with Queen. Both those can be used just as often. Those are very supporting abilities that helps create your, they help make your heroes come to life a little bit better. So they're not lost but not forgotten things to remember. In the Queen category, there really isn't anything else, and really in the King category too. I mean, unless you have a real good use for the Spiky Ball, I think that's actually a really good third place option for the King to be upgraded. May not be at the top of the priority list if you have all of these other upgrades to go. And I really think that is a great way to get started. That puts you in the right place. It's just all about filling in those roles that you're constantly using. So I think that now, as I remember it, I got to get that heal in there. So I think that this is going to help get us on the right path. And as I'm trying all of these new abilities here, I'm going to try them out with some dragon attacks. So I'm excited to do that. Anyways, guys, that will do it for Hero Equipment. And thanks for checking us out. Fallen from OTB, signing off.